Okay, I cannot be the only one that is getting Roka no Yusha vibes from this anime series when it comes to the pacing, to the tension, to the exposition, to that there is a murderer among us. There is just so many Roka vibes I'm getting from this series that it's kind of fucking ridiculous. But I want to push that aside for now, and I want to talk about the main thing that is currently going on in this episode. Who is the murderer? How did they get out of the room? How did they get in the room? That P1 that the doctor was on, that is probably where the killer is at. Think about this for a second. Why would a killer dress up a body, a corpse, in a wedding gown? For one, it's a message. It's a message, obviously. A killer just does not do something like that by chopping off the limbs and decorating a corpse and putting a wedding gown over a corpse if it was not some form of message. So what is the message is the big question we need to really figure out right now. But it's not just that. If you look closely, look at the size of that P1 that the doctor is sitting on in this entire episode, and look what position that P1 is in this episode. I think if you start thinking about the details of it, it makes a lot of sense that there is a possibility that a human-sized adult male, female, or whatever could fit inside of that big cube underneath the doctor. Now, as we know, it is a machine. It is a P1. But let's be real here. Have we really looked underneath that P1? Have we seen underneath that sheet to see if there's some form of hidden compartment inside that P1? No, we have not. We have not completely seen what is underneath that sheet. So, what is the better way to sneak in and out of that room than through that P1 if it has a secret compartment, along with when it finally gets into the hallway and the P1 is facing the completely opposite direction and nobody's looking at you, you can just get out from underneath that and go walk off and then go kill the director. It's just, what I saw here in this episode, I'm like, why is no one realizing this? Like, you have a perfectly sized fucking cube underneath the doctor that could easily hide a human. And they didn't even take the time to really inspect the full cube, the P1. They didn't even try to inspect it. Now, I know it's a murder crime scene, and they can't really mess with the crime scene because they need to find clues and evidence of who murdered. I understand that. And I mean, that's how, crime scenes are investigated in real life. But I mean, that looks just so obvious to me. I mean, if I was in a room and there was some form of killer that got in and killed this girl, and you know for a fact there's no way any normal person walked in through the door and killed her because of the camera footage, there's many ways you can kind of pinpoint this. For number one, the footage of the cameras were erased. For some reason, somehow. The footage of whoever entered that room was erased, which implies that there might be more than two people trying to kill this doctor. Number two, I want to talk about how you get inside of this place to begin with. You cannot even enter this facility if you don't have access to walk around, because we saw in last week's episode of Perfect Insider, if you were to walk into this building, you need to have your name to be able to be accessed, and you need to put your hand on that keypad to be able to be allowed in, and you have to have your voice. So for that to happen, you need to be someone that's been working there for a very long time. So this obviously lets us know that this is an inside job. This is someone that has been around for a very long time. Someone that knows how the network, how the security and everything runs and works in this facility. So this person is very old and knows what is going on. So now we need to wonder is, how did this person sneak in? How long has this person been there? Because for this error to happen in the security, that is something that was programmed most likely to happen with a security failure, or, a failure, an error popping up. That's probably what activated the error that's currently going on right now. But now we need to wonder, who is the killer? Is it one of the police officers? Because that's the first people I'd be suspecting would be the killers. Because if you look at all the different scenes we saw in this episode, they say that nobody entered in or out from the room. Now, there is packages that do go in and out, depending on the size. And they did say that there was some form of large package very recently that was sent in, which was a microwave of some sort. So, I don't know how big this microwave was, but for them to say it was kind of big, there might be a possibility that there could have been something overlooked and something might have slipped in. But whatever it is, though, is that I feel like these security guards, or at the very least one of these security guards, are probably shady and one of the killers. And I don't really think this is just one person that is really doing this. I feel like there's probably 2, maybe 3 people that's probably orchestrated this entire event to kill the doctor and get away with it, because this is not something just one man could do on their own. I mean, think about it. You would need one person to watch the security cameras and remove the security footage. That's number 1. Number 2, you need someone that's able to sneak in, for instance, get inside the P1, kill her in a timely fashion, and probably clean up the room. So there might be some form of janitor involved if the room is clean. We haven't even got to see the room, so we don't even know. If the room is clean and there is no limbs whatsoever, I'm willing to bet that the P1 has her limbs inside of it. That, just straight to the point. But besides that, though, if you look past that, you also need someone that was able to get outside of the facility in time to kill the director. And the only person that we know that was out at that time was one of the security officers. So, one of the security officers are ringing some red flags. There was probably someone in the P1 or cube-like shape underneath the doctor, because we haven't seen the entire glimpse of what was underneath her. Number 3, there is a possibility that there's more than one person doing this. So, this is building up into something very nice. Cannot wait to see where it's going to go. Perfect Insider is becoming really great. I'm loving the exposition, the dialogue between the characters, and to see how one of our main male characters made fun of exposition dialogue, that was pretty great. That was a couple points to this series just for something like that. But yeah, tell me your thoughts. I mean, do you agree with my theory? Do you believe that there's probably someone that snuck inside of that machine and probably was able to sneak inside the room and sneak out? Because, I mean, if you look at where it's positioned in this episode, it's in the middle of a hallway, a dark hallway that's not really that good visually to be seen through. So there could be a person that could easily sneak out from the front of it and just walk on. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.